Let me show you how to make your own 79-inch continuous bias tape from a 12 by 12 inch square of fabric. Start by finding the bias of the fabric, which is the 45-degree angle. You'll notice that even with non-stretched fabrics, the bias will always stretch the most. This is because of the way the fabric is woven. Mark that line out and then decide how wide you want your bias tape to be. I'm doing a 1/2 inch wide tape, so I'm going to mark out 1 inch from that line all throughout the fabric to factor in the folding. Cut your fabric at the center diagonal line and place the pieces together like this. You're going to want to off-center it by a 1/4 inch, pin it, and sew it down at a 1/4 inch seam allowance to create one long diagonal piece. Trim off those excess corners and then open up your seam and iron it down flat. This part looks a little tricky, but fold your fabric like this, matching the lines but off-centering it by 1 inch, and do the same thing we just did to the other side. Off-center it by a 1/4 inch, pin, and sew it at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now comes the fun part. Start cutting all the lines you made initially, and if you off-centered everything right, it should create a continuous 1 inch piece of bias. Once you have that made, it's time to fold it. You can do this manually or create a little guide with some cardstock paper. Mark out 1 inch and then a 1/4 inch on either side. Cut it, fold it on those 1/4 inch lines, and you should have something like this. Now you can guide your fabric through there as you iron to create your bias tape. It's a bit of a tedious process, but if you want bias tape that matches your fabric perfectly, this is the way to do it.